never loved you. She never did.
Easy, girl. What's next?
And we're live. Welcome back to part 24 of Free Roam Fridays, where we free roam with Arthur in Chapter 2. Arthur went ghost hunting this week for the Halloween episode, but first he has to show you his new horse.
Race. Party, you can keep up with the funeral. We're pairing them two. 3 at a time, and there's 50.
And here is the pre-order Iron Grey Roan Ardennes, and a shout out to Dark Rider 1076 on PS4 for donating a download code for this horse to the channel. You are a legend, sir, and I am forever grateful. Just look at the physique on this big girl. She looks almost prehistoric, a dinosaur horse. A full review is forthcoming. Let's get started.
Yeah. Alright, girl.
As stated earlier, the Iron Grey Roan Ardennes is a pre-order horse, and you can access it from the Valentine stable along with the Ultimate Edition Reverse Dapple Black Thoroughbred as soon as you go hunting with Hosea in Chapter 2. She is a beauty, and Arthur named her Superantonio because it's free advertising for the channel and also a very subtle way to watermark the video. Her coat is reminiscent of the Blue Roan Nakota, and at level 4 she comes in at 10 health and 8 stamina. Basically unstoppable in battle, and bravery in a gunfight is off the charts.
Good horse. That's it, girl. Good job. All right.
How brave, you may ask. This brave.
Here we go. Their day. They won't forget the O'Driscoll name anytime soon. Hey, you there! Can I have a horse? Ain't you a dumb-looking bunch? That's it! Yep. Okay, girl. Everyone of us O'Driscoll's gonna piss on your grave.
I think the Ardennes is the only horse I would deliberately expose to gunfire. Note that she's at level 1, fresh from the stable. Also note that Arthur didn't fire a single round, he just let the horse take care of business.
Yes, sir. I am sending you.
And interestingly, we did not catch a bounty. For once, nobody in Valentine cared.
Easy, girl. Yeah, you're all right, girl.
Just outside of town, Arthur was in a good mood from all of those O'Driscolls and decided to help this lady.
Yep.
Please don't leave me in here.
Whew, thank God for that. I have no money to repay you, but I do have some information that might suit your skill set. The Valentine doctor is cozy with the O'Driscoll boys. I've seen them come in and out. Heard they use it as a place to count their money. Maybe you can show those bastards they don't own this land.
Interesting.
Thank you, really. I'll be on my way.
Sure, but you got a hightail, trust me.
Don't we already have that handgun? Maybe not. All these playthroughs blend together for me. We didn't stick around. We paid off our bounty and then back to the swamp for more ghost hunting. If there's something strange in the neighborhood, who you gonna call? Arthur. Though you are probably better off sending him a letter or a telegram, and you will have to address it to Tacitus Kilgore.
You're all right, girl.
Where are we? The ghost will appear on the river's edge around the BLU of Blue Water Marsh. And I have a theory that we need a braver horse, like an Ardennes or an Andalusian, to see this ghost. I also have a theory that we may not be able to see the ghost until Chapter 4, or perhaps the ghost is easier to spawn in Chapter 4, after that conversation with the Reverend.
Yep.
Nothing so far. We may be too early. Let's explore a bit. Across the river there is an abandoned village. And there's some stuff in here. And look, a book. Arthur always has time to read. Otis Miller and the Boy from New York, number 69 in a series of original tales of Otis Miller's adventures. Then when he had first arrived in New York City, his nose bristled at the foreign sights and smells and he had a thirst a mile long. Otis sat on his horse, He looked on at the wagons and refuge and the cacophony of city noises and shoeless children running and workmen heading home and women carrying bags of groceries and shouts and sounds that drowned his ears. The red reflection of the sunlight cut between the buildings and seemed to sever them in two like a curtain of some boudoir. He got down from his horse and walked it to the outside of a bar and tied it up on the cobblestone street. When he walked inside, all eyes and ears turned as everyone looked at his getup. He had left his gang holed up outside of the city. None had been this far towards civilization, and he feared one of them would get drunk or into trouble and disclose the whereabouts of the rest of his gang, who currently sat on a considerable amount of money, having perpetrated a bold hold-up against that evil scoundrel on the Lannahechee train. They had been overrun by detectives outside of Blackwater and had fled north and east as manhunters posed in various guises, scouring the countryside as everything from lightning rod salesmen to itinerant peddlers of farming implements in their desperate search for Otis and his gang of kindly outlaws, and the sizable bounty their heads were worth. "Whiskey, neat with water back," he said to the barkeep. The barkeep eyed him suspiciously. "You wander in off some farm?" "I reckon maybe I did." He put $1 down on the bar and looked the barkeep in the eye. A voice behind him hollered out, "Don't get much of your lot here in New York City." "No, I reckon maybe you don't," he said, turning his head to the side to see a Packenbush revolver pointed dead at his face. The patrons looked on with breathless interest and waited for the outcome. Otis sneered. He had not even taken the trouble to turn around. He looked at the bartender. "Let me have another." "Yes, sir." "And one for my friend here." "I ain't your friend." "There ain't gonna be no shooting in this bar unless I do it, and presently you aren't worth the price of a bullet to kill you." Before the man could blink, Otis took a shot of whiskey and whipped around, grabbing the man's gun and pointing it in his face. "You gonna have to be quicker on the draw. A baby could get the drop on you." "What you plan on doing? You gonna shoot me, farm boy? Every detective from here to Chicago will be after you." "They already are." Otis sneered and looked the city boy up and down. The bar patrons gazed at one another in silence. Then Otis noticed the man's other hand held a second revolver that had been tucked in the back of his breeches. "I reckon you ain't the greenhorn I thought you to be. Never thought I'd meet up with the famous Otis Miller in New York City." Otis smiled and handed him his revolver. "You city boys have a queer way of greeting strangers. I'm looking for a Tucker Van Pelt with the gas lamp gang." "You found him." The kindly bandit pulled out a handsome gold watch, no doubt the memento of a daredevil raid. He studied the numbers. "I reckon you're late." They walked outside and passed a group of women, painted and powdered, who whispered and snickered as they went past. "I hear you're interested in pulling a job at the Bank of New York. It's run by nasty folk who exploit the poor. You're going to need a team of horses to get all that gold out of there." "That's a good thing, then." "What's that?" "I know just the place to get me such a team." Interesting how this story parallels events in Chapter 4, or perhaps all of these Old West outlaws had the same adventures. Let's move on. Another cigarette card? And that's about it. What else is here? An old sign for Pleasance dated 1883. And Arthur has excellent night vision, so he will make a quick sketch and then write, "Here's that empty town I found." Everything is boarded up. Wish we could look in these windows. And the barn says, "Stay out, plague." And this would be a spooky thumbnail. I really like the giant shadow Arthur casts from his lantern. I do hate filming at night, but the lantern really helps. What time is it? 12:20. We better get a move on. We don't want to miss that ghost.
Let's go, girl.
Note the graveyard to Arthur's left. And little did Arthur know he thought he had a date with a ghost, when in reality he had a date with a panther. And all we have is a cattleman, which is pretty much the airsoft of Red Dead Redemption 2. This is gonna hurt. Well, that was embarrassing. What happened to our big strong Ardennes, supposedly the bravest horse in the game, and afraid of a little kitty cat?
Come on, girl.
It's 1 in the morning. We need a hat and a lantern and a Lancaster. Let's move on.
It's okay, girl.
Also, let's eat something as our cores are drained.
I always loved you.
And, I don't like to swear, but oh my god, there she is.
Always loved you.
We can get a closer look with the binoculars, though Arthur suddenly decided to apply some cover scent for some reason. Wow, I honestly didn't think we could see her in Chapter 2. I told you the Ardennes would help. Arthur is so happy right now.
love you. She never did.
And there she goes, fades away into the swamp. However, I believe there are at least a dozen unique encounters, perhaps more, so Arthur will be back. So exciting.
Yep.
And the map. Almost forgot. Here is our location. And we saw the ghost right about here between the B and the L of Blue Water Marsh. Let's move on.
Yep. Whoa.
Underneath this bridge is a dead man, a dead alligator, and a treasure chest. A little bit of cash and a little mystery on the edge of the swamp. And the map once more. And as long as it's still dark and spooky, let's go visit the Strange Man cabin.
Okay.
The horse is not happy. She has somewhere else she needs to be right now. And look at all the candles, so atmospheric. And oil paintings. How is this not a fire hazard? And look at this mysterious painting here. Mirror here, and a top hat. Who do we know who wears a top hat? Technically, this is not the Strange Man's cabin. This is an artist's cabin who is inspired by the Strange Man. The Strange Man is their muse, and they paint him like one of their French girls. To quote Rose from Titanic, the Titanic sank in 1912, so Arthur has never heard of that ship, but perhaps Jack will after Red Dead 1. And above the fireplace, someone has written, "The water is black with venom." Black water, perhaps. Interesting. Wish we could read these newspaper clippings. And here's your location, Bayal Edge, east of the Kamasa River in Bayou Noir. And it's dawn. Arthur has never been happier to see the sunrise in the swamp. And we're going to shoot that alligator in the tail just to get him to move along. And speaking of moving on, what happened to our horse?
Let's go, girl. Giddy up. Good girl. Hi there, mister.
This video is sponsored by viewers like you. Consider joining the channel for deputy badges by your name, custom emoticons in the premiere chats, end credits in every video, and daily members-only community posts featuring random thoughts, TV and movie reviews, and exclusive photos. Before we take another step, we need to do some crafting and load up Flacco's basically useless revolver with explosive rounds. I hope you enjoyed watching this commentary as much as I enjoyed making it. Perhaps we should think about completing a challenge so we can get an offhand holster from the trapper. I don't like having Arthur under-equipped. I'll see you next week. I'm Super Antonio. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your views. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for daily Red Dead Redemption 2 content. We shall meet again. Further on down the trail.
Yep. Hey there. Hello there. Just what the hell is going on here?